Find his way to South Africa, but they can't put him in the 18 to Levante.
We don't know that was the reasoning, but assuming that that's why they made the decision, then of course, yes, it is ridiculous. However, I would say that Barcelona should be good enough to beat Levante regardless. Certainly good enough to not allow Levante to score 5 goals. So, yes, if this was important to Barcelona and this unbeaten streak and unbeaten record was fully appreciated by Barcelona, Messi would have been at least in the squad and certainly in the starting lineup. Obviously, it's more important to us than it was to Barcelona, and so they treat it as such, and they got the result that they deserve out of it.
I think the fans regret the decision. Do you think the club regrets the decision?
I hope they do. And I have to say, you understand the fans regretting the decision because, in all honesty, on the face of it, it's the most ridiculous thing I think I've seen in football for forever, at the very least for quite some time. You're on the verge of making history, of going an entire league season undefeated, never been done before. Real Madrid are on the doorstep of writing another type of history themselves. You have some kind of bragging rights. Yes, it's Levante. Yes, you should win regardless of whether you have Lionel Messi or not. But why do you take that chance? And for me, it shows a huge separation from Barcelona of 10 years ago, I think, that everybody fell in love with. The Barcelona that didn't have a shirt sponsor because no brand was actually bigger than the football club. The Barcelona that's more than a football club. They have it emblazoned on their seats in the stadium. Now, all of a sudden, you not only see the commercialization of Barcelona as a brand, but you schedule a game before the end of your domestic league season. Never mind that you're about to write history. This is what you do. This is how you respect your own domestic league season. It is totally beyond me.
There are many things that Barcelona hasn't achieved as a club. This was one of those things. That it was going to make it very unique and was going to add to the history of Barcelona. This is going to be something special. And you chose to make this game against Mamelodi Sundowns a priority over history. That's the part that I think Barcelona fans and Barcelona as a club should be ashamed.
Stuart to pick his best 11 out of this list of 23. Stu, we're going to put it up here. Explain kind of what you're thinking.
Well, I think Pickford, in my view, is the best goalkeeper out of the 3 that have been picked. I'd play him. I'd play a back 3. Maguire has been excellent at Leicester coming out with the ball, and that's how Gareth Southgate wants his back 3 to play. Stones as the middle centre-half, and Walker, I think, does a brilliant job as the right-sided centre-half because he can get out and cover the space in behind. Trippier I've put out on the right-hand side. Then you look at Dyer and Henderson, the energy of Henderson to get around the field and do a good defensive job. Dyer can switch play. He sits in front of his centre-backs and can drop in at times. And then you look at Sterling playing in behind a front two of Vardy and Kane. And I would pick Rose out on the left-hand side. I think that's a good team. I saw Sterling play in that role in one of the friendlies against either Italy or Netherlands, and he played it really well. And that's the side I would go for. If there was any change, I'd maybe play Sterling instead of Vardy and bring in Dele Alli to play where Sterling's playing. That's the formation and system and players I would go for in that first game against Tunisia.
I know the games aren't played on paper, but you tell me that 11 could make a run to a semifinal?
Yeah, I could tell you yes, no. They cannot make a run to the semifinal.
I think it's a pretty good team.
Look, man, let me tell you something. This squad came out, and let me tell you, the way that England put the squad out, I thought it was very original. I thought it was nicely done. I applaud them for that. And then the names came out. You put that squad next to the Brazil squad that was put out a couple of days ago. Well, you're talking semifinals. You brought up semifinals, right? So stop making faces over there. You brought up semifinals, didn't you?
I did.
Okay, well, that's
where they meet Brazil.
That's the level we're talking about. We didn't say we didn't say quarters, did we? Or anything like that. You said semi. So if you want to get to that point, this squad does not compare favorably to the squad of Brazil. We can agree on that?
Yes.
All right.
Let's take a look at the group, shall we? What do you think, Shaka? 75%, pretty fair for England?
I think it'll be a travesty if England don't get out of the group, without question.
Should they be favorites in this group?
Over Belgium? No. No, not at all. Look, it's a good England team. It doesn't set anybody, on fire with excitement. It certainly doesn't with me. I expect them to get out of the group. But in all honesty, I'm not sure how deep this team goes. And as much as I like how good they are up front, maybe you can make an argument for them there. Just through the midfield and at the back, I'm not sure that this is the team that you bank on. I've seen better England teams do a whole lot worse in semi-finals.
Stuart, I'm getting pummeled here for my optimism. How far do you think England can go?
They'd be lucky to get to the quarterfinals. You know, Gareth Southgate's picked the best players I think he possibly could. He's got a formation that now seems to work for him. They've played it in the last couple of friendlies. They look a well-organised side, but they haven't got a good enough set of players to really challenge for the World Cup or to get into the quarterfinals. There's so many better teams. Brazil, Spain are magnificent at the moment. France will do better. Germany, so no chance for the semi-finals.
Yes, Arsenal needs a new manager.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard
And
it.
here are the
this names have
odds.
changed.
Look at Brendan Rodgers up there at 10-1. But really, it seems to be all a moot point. Mikel Arteta at 1-5, all but penned in the Gunners' next manager. Few people know more about Arsenal than Stuart, so what would you think of that appointment?
I think it's a strange appointment. We heard Ali talk in the show earlier on about how Arsenal needed to change their mentality, how they had to become winners, how they had to be tougher, how they had to be better organised, and someone like Simeone would do that. I'm not sure Mikel Arteta, when he was a player, Arsenal players have been accused for the last 5, 6, 7 years of having no leadership, no guts, no determination. He was a player at Arsenal. He was captain on several occasions. I can't see how he's going to suddenly transmit himself to being this great leader out on the training field and in front of the press and in front of the fans. I think it would be a strange move for Arsenal to go down, and I think it's an easy move, and it shows me that the likes of Ivan Gazidis, Mistelstad, the coach or the technical director, they want people they can mould. They want people they can control. And that's the problem I think Arsenal are going to have at the moment if they appoint Mikel Arteta. He's got no experience of management. He's had 2 or 3 years of coaching. And it's a totally different thing being a coach to a manager. And I'm not sure he's the head coach at Manchester City. Pep Guardiola goes and does most of the coaching, and Arteta follows suit. You know, and that's a totally different thing to being the head coach where you're taking every session, you're determining the tactics, you're now got to lead the players, you've now got to drop players from the team, you've now got to go out in the press. I think it's a massive move if Arsenal go for Mikel Arteta, and the wrong one.
So Stuart isn't sold. I'll let you agree with Stuart's many concerns?
Yeah. The reason I brought up Diego Simeone earlier was simply because if Arsenal is going to change, then you got to make that change palpable. It's got to be there every day. Not just thinking, well, we change the manager and then all of a sudden things are going to magically happen. No. You need a culture change. And Mikel Arteta brings a lot of what Arsenal players are right now. Guys that are good on the ball, but do they win you games? I don't think that that's the case with Arteta. He also feels that it may just be that this is not the job that people think it is. You see, why, if you are managing a big club elsewhere, would you jump ship to come to Arsenal? Why? What is there about Arsenal that makes you say, you know what? I'm Massimiliano Allegri. I'm going to leave Juventus to come to Arsenal. Is that an improvement? I don't think so. Is that a step forward? I don't think so. So, to me, Arsenal's got to be very careful as to what this decision is and make it a priority that this club starts winning and winning consistently. How are you going to do that with a new manager and players that are not all that great? Good luck.
The difference is the thing that brings a big-name manager to Arsenal, or the thing that can set Arsenal apart, is what they can afford to pay. The trouble is when you have managers like Allegri and Simeone, the money isn't the only motivating factor. It's not the biggest motivating factor. It's about competing for silverware with your club, with big clubs, and Arsenal, unfortunately, just isn't that. Now, this Mikel Arteta appointment is the Pep Guardiola and Zinedine Zidane effect, where you promote from within. The trouble is, between Barcelona and Real Madrid, not only did they already have the cultures, if Arsenal are happy with their culture right now, but the club certainly had the foundations and the infrastructure to continue to compete at the highest level while promoting from within. I'm just not sure that Arsenal have the right culture. That's for them to decide. But I am quite certain that they don't have the infrastructure and the support mechanisms
Or the players.
to make Mikel Arteta a successful manager.
Superior Athletico Madrid was over Marseille. At no point did I really get the sense that Marseille truly believed that they could win this game. They needed something positive to happen early on in the game. They get the chance by Jermaine. He misses that opportunity. And then from then on, Athletico Madrid, so comfortable. Marseille, yeah, okay, you can have the ball. Yeah, have the ball over there because you're going to come over here, you're going to lose it, and then we're going to go on the counter. And when you lose it in a bad area, we're going to jump on it, we're going to score goals. And that's what they did, Athletico Madrid. too good of a team for this competition really begs the question as to why they're in this competition to begin with.
I thought Marseille were excellent in the first 15 minutes or so. But two things you know against Atletico Madrid. You're not going to get many chances. When you do get them, you take them. And then you cannot afford to give the ball away as cheaply as Marseille did for the opening goal. And then you give Atletico Madrid a lead, it is very hard to get it back. You find yourself stretched and pressing. And then you get exposed in the second half, which is exactly what happened. Marseille have done well to get this far, but shot themselves in the foot of the final, albeit a far superior Atletico Madrid.
What I would say also about Atletico Madrid is that they were disappointed that they got bounced out of Champions League in the group stage. That was disappointing because they thought of themselves as a candidate to win the whole competition. Okay, now they're eliminated, and they could have taken their path to saying, well, that's it, game over, game, set, match, that's it, let's turn the page. Instead, Diego Simeone made Europa League a priority and said, okay, fine. We failed there, but we're not going to fail here. They made it a priority. It felt like they made it a priority. And the moment that Atletico Madrid jumped or dropped into this competition, they became favorites. And all the way through, there was nothing about Atletico Madrid that didn't give you the sense that they would win it. In the end, they do what I thought they were certainly capable of.
We mentioned Stuart Robson's with us. Stuart, you watched the game. Ended just a few minutes ago. What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, for the first 15 minutes, as Xhaka said, Marseille played with enthusiasm, with intensity. They got a few crosses into the box. They had their chance. Then Payet went off injured, and he's their key player. He's the one that can unlock the defence. But once that first goal went in, it was a brilliant performance from Athletico Madrid. Their understanding of their positional play, where to close down, when to drop off, when to counter-attack, when to keep the ball. It was magnificent, and Marseille just didn't have any answers for it. And as the game wore on, you knew that Atletico Madrid would increase their lead.
Guys, it feels like that was the last match we're going to see Antoine Griezmann in an Atletico jersey. If he goes, how much trouble are they in?
They're in trouble, but it feels like we have had this conversation before. So when Fernando Torres left, what happens to Atletico Madrid? When Radamel Falcao left, what happens to Atletico Madrid? When Diego Costa left, what happens to Atletico Madrid? And they just keep finding ways of staying competitive. This is more about the club culture. This is more about the sense of belief that Diego Simeone has created around this club. And then you need quality players to back that up. Antoine Griezmann would be a big miss, but then it feels like Atletico Madrid would do something to address that. Not only do they have to address the absence of Griezmann, but they also have to address the fact that this team is getting older. And how do you find that new talent to come in and really stay competitive in a league in which, let me tell you, it's difficult to stay competitive when you have Real Madrid, when you have Barcelona, and where your aspirations are to be a high level of competition in Champions League?
I think we start having that discussion meaningfully when Diego Simeone,
that guy,
leaves. And until then, is little doubt in my mind that Atletico Madrid will continue to find a way. Even as this team ages, they will find players to come in. As they sell players to balance the books, they will find players to come in. But Diego Simeone has been a big part of the culture of this club that Ali is talking about, and that will continue. Antoine Griezmann may not be the only one to leave Atletico Madrid this summer. Still, is little doubt in my mind that they will continue to compete. They may not finish second in La Liga next season. They may not get to a European final, but they will be a headache for all the big clubs in European football as long as Simeone is there.
Welcome to the ESPN FC studio. Xhaka Hislop, Alejandro Moreno, Sebastian Salazar. We're also joined by Stuart Robson as we get ready to break down Nigeria in the upcoming World Cup. Stuart, how do you rate the Super Eagles' chances?
They haven't got a great chance, but they had a very good qualification. They've got a German coach, Gernot Rohr, who's done a very good job with them. And I like their front six. They'll probably play on the counter-attack. They've got Moses, the Chelsea player, down the right-hand side. Musa, who was formerly at Leicester, now playing for CSKA Moscow. He's got plenty of pace, and Igalo will probably lead the line. But it's still Obi Mikel that pulls the strings in that midfield area, probably playing in the number 10 role. And then they've got the athleticism in central midfield. Nazi, who's playing his football in Turkey at the moment, and Ndidi, the Leicester player. They're both good athletes. They'll cover for the lack of athleticism of Obi Mikel, but it's the defence I worry about. And their big game, I think, will be against Croatia. I think they will beat Iceland. I think they'll struggle against Argentina. If they beat Croatia, they will go through to the next round.
Stuart touched on it there, guys. Group D, about as tough as you'll find in this summer's World Cup. Nigeria, 36% chance to advance, according to 538. Is that fair for the Super Eagles, Ale?
It is fair. I do think that Nigeria can give Argentina all they can handle. you assume that in that sort of game you'll have an Argentina team that will have most of the ball. Lionel Messi will be on the ball. They'll be creating opportunities themselves, but they're going to leave themselves open in transition. And so if Nigeria can use that transition, that athleticism that Stuart was talking about, they may just create enough problems for Argentina. Still, I don't think they're good enough to beat Argentina. It's going to come down to whatever they do against Croatia. I fear that Nigeria may come up just short of making it to the next round.
And the thing is, Nigeria finished with Argentina in the group stages, so that may play to their effect if Argentina have already qualified and they start with Croatia. I think this is a better Nigerian team than many people are giving them credit for. And you're still not sure, despite their showing in the Euros, what you're going to get out of Iceland. Nigeria get a decent result against Croatia in the opening game, which I think they can. I think they get out to the group stage. I don't see them going much further than that, though.
Good team, tough group. Again, Group D, Argentina, Iceland, Croatia, and Nigeria. Sam Allardyce out at Everton. David Moyes out at West Ham. Stu, either of those a big surprise for you?
Not at all. The Everton fans have been trying to get rid of Sam Allardyce ever since he was appointed, and I can't blame them to a certain degree, but they have to be careful because when Martinez was the manager at Everton, they said they weren't good enough defensively, they were too open, they were too easily to be counter-attacked. Now under Allardyce, they're so defensive, they hardly get shots on goal, they don't get the ball forward into the front areas enough, they don't get support into the front player. So Everton fans have got to make sure they know what they want, and a new manager must get the balance right between the attacking side of the game and the defensive side of the game, and win matches and be slightly entertaining.
Shaka, from the beginning, you didn't like the David Moyes hire, did you?
I didn't. I didn't think it was a good fit, just in terms of his style and what's expected by the West Ham fans from their club. But seeing that, West Ham were in a dire position, and David Moyes got them out of that. And I thought, at the very least, earned enough for another year. Sam Allardyce, I'm not that surprised about. I think Everton's preferred choice was always Marco Silva, and it seems they're going in that direction. I'm just not sure where West Ham are going to turn now.
Manuel Pellegrini at the top of the odds list. You like it?
I do, if you can get him. I like anybody in that list, in all honesty, if you can get them. And that's a big ask for West Ham right now. West Ham don't have a lot to offer other than what may be a salary. Good club, strong fans, good stadium. But they're not going to be banging on the door, the top end of the Premier League, and certainly the biggest spenders in the Premier League. As a result, I have a lot of question marks over all those matches.
Can I just say that, so fans for Everton and fans for West Ham, and they have all these expectations for this club. And so this guys get fired, right? And then they're gone, see you later, take care. They both did their job. Mm-hmm. You may not like it, you may not appreciate it, you may not want your team to play that way, but Sam Allardyce improve Everton in their standing, and David Moyes save West Ham as well. So, be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm saying. You're not as good as you think you are, both of you, Everton and West Ham.
Welcome into Extra Time. Yesterday's Extra Time was all about marriage advice from Craig Burley.
I hope you took it on board.
Good luck.
I hope we can stick to the
And
questions. Although I would take marriage advice from you guys.
But not Craig, please.
Sure.
He gave it.
And what did he say? What was it? I didn't know.
He told me to lie, basically. The central tenet was just to lie. And he was very shocked that I was already telling my wife the truth.
And that it was too early in the marriage.
We've been married 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. I love Burley. He had all the tricks to the trade.
His exact comment was, "You telling your wife the truth already?"
like you've already given up.
I gotta tell you, somebody on Twitter was very upset about that conversation. They asked me why I was, so ashamed of telling my wife I love her on the phone.
Was it Mrs. Salazar by the chance? No. It was. Yes, it was.
Somebody tweeted at me.
No.
I love my wife. Great.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey, no, look at the camera and say that. Don't be like, I love my wife.
I love you, baby.
I'm laughing.
I'll say it loud now that Craig's not here.
Do it out laughing. Do it out laughing.
Wait a minute. So you're ashamed to say it in front of Craig?
Well, I know Craig will bury me.
Your love only lasts until Craig shows up. That's it. That's where it ends. Come on, man. You really have given up. That's only 2 weeks in.
The studio's got warm all of a sudden.
Honeymoon is over.
We're all here. Stuart Robson's here as well. He'll join us as we answer your questions. Slog Redmond wants to know, in the eyes of the panel, is making it to the Champions League round of 16 a greater achievement in footballing and financial terms than winning the Europa League? Jaka?
Well, in financial terms, should know that, right? Well, you all should know that. I don't. What'd you get from making it to the round of 16 in the Champions League as opposed to winning the Europa League?
Oh man.
Gotta warn me. I don't know those things off.
Okay, so let's take the financial.
Right.
Footballing.
So let's take.
Okay, well, hold on a second. Let's say for example, a team like Marseille.
Yeah.
Say they made it into the round. What is it?
Round of 16.
Round of 16, right? And then they get eliminated. So now they're not competing in Europa League, and because of their position in the league, they're also not making Champions League. They had a chance today to make it back into Champions League. So winning Europa League puts you back into Champions League, and therefore the financial gain would be greater.
Man, smartest one on the desk.
I'm totally lost. I ain't lying. I don't know what you just said.
That's par for the course between you two.
Wait. Was that so difficult?
No, it made perfect sense.
I'll have to.
You tuned me
I'll
out.
have to look at this segment over again with a piece of pen and paper in my hand and figure this out.
Let's go out to Stuart for our next question here. Our guy Pupusas wants to know, do you think Atletico Madrid should be celebrating the way they are over the Europa League? Shouldn't they be competing for bigger and better titles?
No, yes, they should be competing for the Champions League. They didn't play well in the Champions League at the start of the season, losing to Chelsea at home. But they've been excellent since then, and I think they should celebrate winning the Europa League. It's been an excellent performance tonight, and I thought they were an outstanding team once they went into the Europa League. And all you can do is win it. And going back to your previous question, Manchester United didn't qualify for Europe or the Champions League last season, but they won the Europa League and therefore made lots of money getting into the Champions League.
Why shouldn't you celebrate winning Europa League?
Well, I just wonder, like, are you supposed to? You're supposed to celebrate it, but you can't celebrate it too much.
Yeah, I know it's not you. It's
Pupusas.
Pupusas.
You know what pupusas are?
You've definitely eaten a pupusa.
Yes.
Well,
You have. Well, let me tell you, they're like arepas. You know arepas?
okay, all right. That was getting a
He's
bit concealed
faking.
there.
You know arepas?
Yeah, I know arepas, yeah.
Well, they're sort of a similar version as they make it in El Salvador.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I have eaten one of those.
Sean wants to know, with MLS getting Rooney and Ibrahimovic, would getting European managers like Wenger, Ancelotti, and Moyes, bring MLS to a higher standard instead of getting retiring players? That was just a weird...
Wenger, Ancelotti, and Moyes.
Did they have Hullet?
We
That
did.
went well.
Yeah.
You don't think there's something to be said here for bringing in some...
I think MLS has benefited from a guy like Tata Martino, who right off the bat was, hey, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to improve the situation around me. I'm going to get the players. We're going to put a plan in place, and we're going to treat this the way it should be treated. If you have the right mindset and certainly the experience and the preparation, and then you put around you a team that knows this league and knows Major League Soccer well, which Atlanta did very well around Tata Martino, I think players can certainly benefit from coaches that have had this sort of experience worldwide.
But yeah, you have to have coaches who are willing to embrace what MLS is and how difficult it can be. Because I think it's easy just to throw out the fact, let's bring European managers in. But as I mentioned, you've had Hullet, you've had Rijkaard, without really great success in either of those two managers. But yes, you can get it. But MLS is a different beast. And you have to have somebody who's willing to embrace that and take it on.
Rijkaard. Who did he coach in MLS?
Not Rijkaard. What's his name? Was up at Toronto.
Aaron Winter.
Winter.
Yes.
Same thing.
Shaka. Stuart.
You're just making things up, man.
Stuart watches some MLS.
Well,
What do
Remy
you
Gard's
think? Remy Gard's
not doing too well at the moment, is he? At Montreal. And I do a lot of commentaries on Atlanta United, and at the moment, for me, there's no better place to go and commentate on football because the atmosphere is magnificent. He's got the team playing some wonderful football. They've got expansive players. They play a brand of football that everybody would want to watch, and they're winning as well. So Tata Martino coming in has certainly improved them. I'm not sure the European managers would have exactly the same effect.
Funny he mentioned Remy Gard. Montreal is a disaster. How long do you think he lasts? They're shipping goals like 3 a game.
Yeah, that's no good. It's not a good ratio, even by Shaka's standards.
Oh, easy.
Shaka just wants
Bring
to.
Rijkaard back, I see.
Yeah.
Rijkaard to TFC. Helios, final question here. What do you guys think about Argentina chances of winning the World Cup? Ala, you want to start with this one?
I would love to see Lionel Messi lead Argentina and carry Argentina to a World Cup, because that would validate him in the eyes of people like, say, Shaka Hislop. I don't like them defensively. They're a heart attack in the back line. Everybody back there is an accident waiting to happen. But if anybody can do it, I suppose it's Lionel Messi. And man, what a story that would be, and what a storyline, and perhaps a storybook ending to his career with the national team that would be.
I would love to see Argentina win it for Lionel Messi as well. The truth is, and the amazing thing for me is, when you look at this Argentina squad, as talented as they are, everybody just seems to kind of step back and almost forget exactly how good they are, in the hope that Lionel Messi is the one who carries them to the promised land. The World Cup is not that kind of a tournament. You can't just step back and expect one person to dominate that way. You have to step up at some point. I just don't see this Argentina, other than Lionel Messi, doing that.
Stuart, how far do you think Argentina go this summer?
When they appointed Sampaoli, I thought they were going to be a magnificent side. I thought he was going to get the best out of the players. They were going to play a system that not too many people could cope with. I don't think he's quite got it right at the moment. I'd love to see, as the other two guys have said in the studio, Lionel Messi to go and win it, because he is the best player in the world by quite some way, in my view. But I don't think they will.
But not in Shaka's view.
Best player in the world right now, yeah. That is my view.
Not ever.
Ever.
Yeah.
That's a different argument.
That's a different argument altogether.
For another extra time.
Yes.
You can have it every extra time if you want.
Oh.